Right, in today's video, I'll be comparing the latest Nvidia Vulkan Driver, which is 532.32, and I'll provide a link for that in the description of the video, although I don't know if you'll actually want to download it. And I'll be comparing it against the latest official Nvidia driver, 536.67. So this video was actually a request from one of my viewers. Can't quite remember your name, but off the top of my head, it's Juan Hernandez. Yeah, whenever there's an Nvidia Vulkan driver, he asks me to compare the drivers. So, guys, just to show you, 2 days ago, I bought a 2 terabyte SSD or NVMe. So I've moved all my games and I'm downloading a whole bunch of new games so I can add to my benchmarks. So you'll see in the pool of my games, the games look a little bit different. They're a lot more newer games. So whether or not the numbers are the same as they were previously, don't stress about it, because I'm comparing apples to apples. So if the percentages look smaller, just know that I'm testing the same settings in each game. So don't worry about the percentages. It's more about which driver is better. So yeah, let me just get to my results. So all my games are tested at medium settings, but because I do have newer games that are tested, some of them are actually on low. So let me just go through here quickly. Dead Space Remake, I use the low settings preset with FSR set to quality, because obviously my laptop's under spec for that. Dead Islands at medium. Ratchet & Clank, I'll also use the low settings preset because it's quite a heavy game for the GTX 1650 mobile. Remnant 2, I use a low settings preset. Returnal, I use a low settings preset. Basically, all the games from this year, with the exception of Hogwarts Legacy and Resident Evil 4, I test on medium settings, but all the new games I test at low settings. And where I can, I use FSR 2.0 or FSR 2.1 on quality. And as you'll notice, these are all single player games. Those are the games I play mainly. I am going to be installing Modern Warfare 2 and Valorant and PUBG, just so I can start testing online games for you guys as well. Just so I can make this more of a balanced comparison going ahead. And then lastly, I test on a GTX 1650 laptop. So if you've got an RTX laptop, your results may vary, because obviously GTX and RTX have got different technologies, so they interact with the drivers differently. Anyways, with all that nonsense out of the way, let's get to results. So 532.32 over 13 games. When I add up all the average FPSs, my total FPS over 13 games was 909. And then I divide that by 13, so my average FPS per game over the 13 games was 69.92. So then when I did the same thing for the 1% lows, added up all the 1% low averages, and then it gave me over 13 games 615 1% low total, divided by 13, so my average 1% low per game is 47.31. So when I divide the 1% lows by the average FPS, my stability percentage for 532.32 is 67.66%. So guys, you're probably thinking, wow, this is a lot lower than I used to get. Just bear in mind, I've added a whole bunch of new games where the settings are a lot heavier. So I haven't added in Days Gone, I haven't added in Horizon Zero Dawn. So the average FPSs are lower and the 1% lows are worse. But just bear in mind, I'm comparing apples to apples. So the thing is, don't worry about the percentage. All you're worried about is seeing which driver performs better. So then for the latest driver, which is not a driver I recommend, but for the latest driver, I just tested it because it was a driver I was using at the time. Over 13 games, my total FPS was 917. So you can see there's already quite a big jump in average FPS. And then when I divide 917 by 13, my average FPS per game is 70.53. So you can see the average FPS is higher on this latest proper Nvidia driver. And then when I do the same thing for the 1% lows, add them all up, and then my total 1% lows over 13 games is 636. So you can see it's quite a lot higher than this Vulkan driver. So when I divide 636 by 13, my average 1% low per game is 48.92%, or 48.92 FPS. So you can see it's quite a bit higher than on this latest Nvidia Vulkan driver. And bear in mind, 536.67 is not actually even a driver I recommend. So yeah, I really don't recommend this latest Nvidia Vulkan driver. 2 drivers ago, the Nvidia Vulkan driver was good, but the latest couple of Nvidia Vulkan drivers haven't been that great. Because bearing in mind, 536.67 is already a step down from 536.40, and 536.67 is a lot better than 532.32. So if you do like Nvidia Vulkan drivers, don't upload 532.32. I recommend not a 532.18, but actually the one just before that. That was quite a good driver. Can't remember off the top of my head. So guys, yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comment section. And as always, if you're still watching and you haven't subscribed as of yet, now's the time to do so. Other than that, have a good night. It's people like you. Cheers.